People of God, today we've got a wonderful miracle. Our Father, through His God, is always covering us. Our Mother, through her God, she's always covering us.
Yeah.
We've got a gentleman who was attacked, assaulted severely, and almost lost his life. And so many things happened. He doesn't even remember some of the things. And some of the history we had to get it from the witnesses who saw him. But because there was a word which had been pronounced amongst us and to him, he was able to be sustained his life throughout that injury. And the good thing is, his recovery was completed in this place. So this is the testimony that we have today. So before we call the gentleman forward, we're going to ask the media team to play the clip so that we can witness the extent of the injury that he had. But we need to just apologize. Some of the images, they are not for people of a nervous disposition. But because of the testimony, we need to demonstrate and show what happened to this gentleman. So media team, if you are ready, you can play the clip for us.
Mai Mushinga. Ndine vana vatatu. Asi Richimeni ndo mwana wangu wekutanga. Nokuti akasiwa baba akasiyana baba wake na mai vake anga ane gore. Saka ndongoti ndiye first born yangu. Saka uri musi wechina kuma 66 ndakanzwa mukoma wake wakuridza runhare vachiti Richimeni apondwa. Hama dzadiwa ndakamerera ndakapera simba ndakapindwa nechando kudedera kuti saka munhu zvanzi apondwa saka ndinoti munhu atobva afira ipapo. Nokuti nzvimbo yainzi aponderwa inzvimbo yatinoziva zuva nezuva unotonzi papondwa munhu abva afira ipapo awanikwa akafa ipapo. Saka vakoma vake vacho vakabva vasimuka vakati vakafona vakati asi akuenda kupi kunoona ari pana ari paaponderwa Richimeni uya. Vachisvika papo vacho vaingoti mafamba sei maapapi maapapi. Vakasvika ipapo vakati ndaona Richimeni atemwa musoro. Matemo 5 mumusoro abva abaiwa nebanga panopazisava chingwa kuti nebanga nepa. Vakatongoti munhu zvatamuita izvi zvatongomusiya.
Munhu akatosiyiwa achinzi munhu afa, munhu asisipo.
Maronda acho anotyisa kunzonzi munhu maronda iwayo ari mumusoro ndomunhu. Saka kunzi maronda ari mumusoro memunhu zvinotyisa zvinhu zvakadaro. Saka takatya.
Inini ndakazoudzwa musi weSunday makuseni ndichizonzi aenda kuchipatara. But ndakasvika kuchipatara asati agezwa, asati aitwa sei. And then situation yanga ari, he could not talk, he could not do anything.
Hama wedu ndakapindwa nechando ndakati nai Mwari. Munhu anotemwa musoro anorarama here munhu iye atofirepo papasisina munhu. Saka takapinda kuti akatya. Unonzi kutya haukotsire unorara wakagara kuti kudai. Chese newana hatina kana kuwana hope kana kurara kusvika tazonzwa kuti Richimeni ataura. Ende pakataka kutaura pacho akatanga kutaura kutaura zvinhu zvisinganzwisisike zvezvi.
He could now open his eyes. Itawo zviri nani.
Paakasvika pachipatara akabva angosweswa madripi akamhanya nokuti anga arasika ropa rakawanda. Asika madripi akazobva asonwa nemadhokota. Apedzwa bva akagara muchipatara kunga mazuva manga 5 days arimo. Zvanga zvakaoma anga akazvimba asingagone kana kudya. Kana kuita kutere taitongoiswa kudzwa ipapo pamubhedha ipapo aingopuwa zvinhu zvakachingoitira ipapo pamubhedha ipapo. Kusvika azonzi nemadhokota endai naye kwanokwanisa kuona naye kumba. Endai naye kumba nokuti bhiri renyu inozoramba richikwira kana akaramba ari munhu.
Zvinji zvacho ndandazomboziva kuti chikatika sei. Ndazongopepuka nda kuchipatara. Ndiva ndakutobvunza kuti ko ndiri kupi.
Media team, you can just pause there. Thank you. So, men of God, we've got a young man who is 23 years old, who is walking somewhere here in Chitungwiza at around 6 p.m. and is assaulted by, whether they are robbers, we don't know. And is assaulted with knives, with axes, and is axed on the scalp, on the head and neck. They didn't assault any other organ of the body. They just targeted the head, which means these guys wanted to kill. They just wanted to get rid of him. And then from there, somehow people pass through, they hear the commotion, and then they rescue him, and then they somehow get hold of his phone, they call the brother, and then the brother comes, he's taken to the hospital. We've got some of the hospital records. If you are ready, media team, you can show us so that we can, so that's one of his hospital cards. You can see the name 23M, that's the age, and the injuries that they saw. You can go to the next page. There's a part where they talk about the lacerations. All in all, he had 8 lacerations. 4 of them were on the scalp, 2 on the neck, 3 on the neck, and 1 on the face. So this is quite a number of lacerations which are there.
Okay.
And we know that the scalp is very well vascularized. It's got a lot of blood vessels and it bleeds. If ever one has got an injury of the scalp, they are going to bleed quite a lot.
And I also wanted to ask on that matter, doctor, as you are explaining, the kind of laceration, because you moved and you said there were several kind of lacerations. Are these kind of lacerations the kind of things that a human being can usually survive on if they happened to him?
Well, it depends on the extent, but here if you see the suture lines, the suture lines are quite long.
Okay.
So they are quite
Suture lines, you are meaning the stitches?
The stitches, yes, where they're stitched. They are quite long. If you can examine the young man today, you can see so many lines in his scalp, in his head, showing different lacerations. And you can imagine how much force one would put using an axe. It's quite a severe force. And it's a miracle that he is still with us today. Because having been axed on the scalp 4 or 5 times, it's not something that you are not going to survive easily. And we've got a scan which he was taken. Media team, if you are ready, you can show us the scan, which this guy had where he was. On this scan, it's showing the brain. Those who can interpret it, they can tell you that the brain is packed. It's full, it's swollen. So there is what is called diffuse brain injury. And even outside the brain, you can see some gases, some what we call pneumatosis, some gases in the scalp. So this is somebody with a severe brain injury. He has got an injury which is quite extensive, and the brain cells have swollen and they've taken up all the spaces. The brain usually has got some grooves at the edges, but on this scan you can't even see the grooves. Everything is just full in the brain. So this is to tell you that this was quite a bad injury.
So it was quite a very extensive ordeal that actually happened to him.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So you are saying that by the butchering that was happening to his head, that's what actually caused the swelling.
Yes.
And what are the consequences of someone having a swollen brain?
There are so many. He can have fits, he can have signs of brain swelling. If you look at the paper that we had demonstrated, they had to put him on some anti-seizure medication and some medication to reduce the brain swelling because they knew if they don't do that, that was obviously going to happen. And then, of course, they've got other senses in the brain. And some of the lacerations were close to the ears. You look just above the ear, both sides, he had lacerations on those sides. So many things could happen to him, which you can take maybe the whole day to try and explain all these things. But this young man had been coming to the house of God. And there is one thing, the moment he had his memory coming back, which kept on coming back to him. Media team, you can just play us, just continue from where you stopped.
I still remember 25 June. 2023 ndanga ndiri mom service. Baba was declaring, Prophet Mano Makandiwa vaka declare vakati, I've seen death being cancelled in this place. Tango receive a pese baba.
I'm separating your body from the will of the devil.
I receive.
Father, your grace that functions, your grace that is distributed from this altar. From this place we have seen people that have now become people that were not people. From this place, lives have been restored. From this place, we have seen death being cancelled. From this place, we have watched you give answers, restoring hope. This place is a source.
Chakazondishamisa ndechekuti vakaenderera mberi vachiti ndabata musoro yese munhu ari panapa. And I was there. Vakabva vatiwo, I believe somebody out there has received.
I touched too many people today. Today, I know it. I know how I feel after I've touched every head. That's what I'm feeling right now. I'm not tired. I've given out a lot. It means somebody out there has received.
And that service, it was mine, and I'm that person I told on Baba with somebody out there, I receive. And I receive, I should sure. Achieve all kind of that declaration. Pasina my days, Lubandagano Sangana ne Dambuziko. And these people, they were after my head. Vaitungo damsoro, apanapango pavaka kwanza unge vachiruva, vakaruwa msoro. Mwene demo, mwesimbi. Wanga wara after msoro, wanga wanzi na baba, dabata msoro wese.
I know how I feel after I've touched every head. That's what I'm feeling right now. I'm not tired. I've given out a lot. It means somebody out there has received.
Kuti ndinge ndiri mpenyu nhasi, ma declarations akataurwa neprofita.
From this place, lives have been restored. From this place, we have seen death being cancelled.
Ne covering yeruoko rwavo rwanga ruri pamusoro pangu ndo zvakandiraramisa, ndo zvaita today ndinge ndiri pano.
Ndakaya naye kumba asingagona kana kuti yaingoswera akangorara mumba.
Anga asingatene musoro, aiti kana achitena aitena nemuviri wese, kana kuti aitoita zvokusimuka oita zvokutenderera otarisa kuanother side raada kutarisa. And then pakugeza apa anga asingakwanisa kugeza ega, anga asinganzwe.
Zvokutoti pakusanzwa apa kana kusafamba tangoti kere mwana wedu aripo achingonzi aripo. Zvigamira kuti ndo zvaatove zvokuti haachanzwa kana kufamba kuenda kure kana kutendeutsa muzipa akangogara akangotarisa kwaanenge akangotarisa kutendeutsa muzipa hachagunta atangozvigamuchira kuti pamwe ndo zvaakurarama ari ngori.
Tikati aiwa hatingangogare naye zvakangodaro, inini pangu inini mumwoyo mangu ndakangozviudza kuti we should go back there, katidzokerei kuna Prophet Mano Makandiwa. Because declaration yavakaita yakamubatsira kuzoti nhasi azikwanisa kunge ari mupenyu.
Richimene akaenda kuchechi akatoti ndoda kuenda kuchechi musi weSaturday.
Thank you, media team. So there we are. The guy has been assaulted. He's lying in the hospital bed. The first day, he doesn't know where he is. He has lost consciousness. The second day, he starts to remember. But we thank God that one among the things that he remembers the declaration of the man of God. That there was a word which was preached to me You know, there's a man in the Bible who was swallowed by a fish. The word says, in the belly of the fish, he remembered the temple of the Lord. And he remembered his place of life. This guy here, rich man, he remembered the word that had been said about him. That our father had said, I've touched every head. You know, it's a blessing. I know a lot of us, when we go into trouble, we think of other things. But if you can remember what the man of God has said to you when you are now in the time of trouble, you know, it's a massive blessing, because that word can keep you. It can sustain you.
You know, even talking about the declaration that our father made on that particular day, there was something strong that I listened to when you were saying. He said, I'm separating your body from the will of the devil.
Indeed, yes, he said that.
And at this point in time, you can actually notice that the father, he had actually seen what was actually going to happen to him in the future. And what the devil wanted to do to tamper with his life was to first attack his body. And definitely when the body is attacked, it's the weakest link. And then a human being loses their life. Yes. And then if you see the progression of his declaration, you see he's now declaring against death, happening to him, happening to the person.
Yes.
And the most amazing thing is he then went to talk about touching of the head.
Yes.
And he spoke
the head, not any
not
other organ,
anything else.
touching the head.
It's
and it's not a coincidence either.
No, it's not. And the deepest thing about it is, you know, when I start looking at the words that are spoken by our Father, you realize he's not just a man that just speaks words out of nowhere. He's very calculated on how he speaks, what he says. He knows exactly what he is saying. Several times you hear someone coming and saying, Baba, you prophesied to me about this. And you hear him saying, no, I didn't say this. I said this, yes, and this and this. Yes. Which means he's very intentional about the word.
Deliberate.
Yes. Yeah. Very deliberate, and he knows what he is saying.
Yes.
So, which means even when he spoke about touching the head, he definitely knew what was actually coming on him, and he specified the aspect of the head.
Yes.
And you know, you start looking at some things and you have questions, because you want to understand that if someone who has been butchered to that extent, and you are saying that a scalp is multivascular.
Indeed, yes.
Okay.
It bleeds.
It bleeds
so
a lot.
He must have lost a lot of blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there...
And the other miracle is, with all those lacerations from the X, I didn't see a scalp a fracture of the skull. You look at this at the CT scan, the skull is intact.
So
it's just a miracle.
Is that what our Father was now saying, that I'm separating your body from the will of the enemy?
Yes, yes, yes.
Which means if the enemy had been allowed, that X was going to enter through the skull.
Exactly.
But because our Father said, I'm separating the body from the will of the enemy.
Because anyone who is Xing is using his maximum strength. He is literally exerting his force. And you are Xing 4 times on the head. And you are hitting him with a metal rod, you are cutting with a knife. You can imagine the amount of force. But the hand prevailed, the hand upon his head. But somehow, as the healing progressed, the family discovered something, that the neck was now stiff, he couldn't turn. The hospital had discharged him with a collar, a hard collar. From the notes, they write about the neck injuries as well. And besides that, they were failing to communicate properly with him because he couldn't hear. So, media team, can you just now show us when he eventually came for ministration here in the house of God?
Tichisvika muchechi, baba ndobva vaparidza, and then vapedza kuparidza ndobva vakabva vaenda pandiri.
be healed.
Just watch, just watch. Just watch. Just watch, focus on the screen.
Just look at your screens.
Look
He
at
was
this.
assaulted, man of God. He
Look
was
at-
assaulted.
Assaulted. Look at the, look at the stitches in the head.
He was severely assaulted.
Just look at your screens. See those blue things there? Those are stitches that are on his head. This man was severely assaulted.
So, okay, we would want to hear his story. I've ministered to him. A testimony is coming. Everyone, he's healed.
We can celebrate,
Healed.
people of God.
You are healed, child of God. You are healed. You are healed.
He prayed for me. Panguva iyoyo ndakanzwa kamuka relief kamhepo kakungonzwa kuti mhepo. And from there ndopandabva ndatanga kunzwa zviri clear. Ndopandakanzwawo prophet vachiti no, we just want to hear the story, and I administered to him. You bring us his testimony. And I was like, ndanda kutonzwa zviri clear, so the prophet aparutaura and stuff.
So you hear that. He says the first word that I heard, or the first sentence was, he's bringing us his testimony. So all along this ministration, he wasn't hearing anything. He just heard the part that you are bringing a testimony. And that's amazing.
You know, what's amazing is him hearing the part of saying that you're going to testify.
Yes,
And every faculty of his body actually responded
yes,
to the fact that a testimony had to be brought
yes,
by the word of the prophet.
yes, yes.
That declaration that you have to bring a testimony made sure that everything in his body would pay attention
Exactly.
to the word of the man of God.
Exactly.
And instantly, a miracle happened to
yes,
him.
yes.
It's so amazing how it happens that every little thing, every little gesture that our Father does, it means something. It has got serious spiritual significance.
Yes.
Even any word that he says, it's actually meaning something, Doctor.
Yes, yes, indeed. Immediately, just continue with that part.
Okay, we would want to hear his story. I've ministered to him. A testimony is coming.
Paakanamatira naprofeti akakwanisa kubvisa chikola chaigara ainacho chaiti akabvisa chero achida kurara aiti kuti ndikurwadziwa, asi akakwanisa kuchibvisa akachisa pasaidhi. I was shocked kuti munhu akutotena musoro abva kubatwa naprofeti. Brother yake ikatouya ikamudzvanyadzvanya mastichi, asi haana kana kumboratidza pain yekuti ari kurwadziwa. Vakatomudza kuti tena musoro, vakachitoona zvese zvichitoita. Then vakatomudzvanya huro vachimutenesa, vakatoona zvese achitoita. Vakamuti uri kunyatsonzwa here? Inini ndaida kunyatsomeka sure kuti zveshuwa here akunzwa, zveshuwa here akutenesa musoro. Ndakatora chikola chaipfeka ndikabata. Ndikati tenesa musoro, akatenesa musoro. Ndikamuti wakunyatsonzwa here? Akanditi ndakunyatsonzwa. And then it was a miracle kwandiri.
And from there ndandafiti mapains ese papasina pain, ndakwanisa kutena musoro, everything musoro papasina kana pain, papasina any pain, papasina kana pain.
And kumba takatonyatsoenda, hapana akabata mumwe, hapana akaita sei. Munhu aitongosvikira kombi ega, achiburuka ega, achifamba ega, ari fit. Zvatakaita tichienda, naso zvatakaita tichidzoka, zvanga zvatochinja.
chimweni paakabva kuchezi zvakatotishamisa achisvika pagedhi akabvisa chikola chake chaaigara nacho. Akuti utomutiwa kuti chimweni uri kunze kwaanga akutokudayira zvaanga asingaite pasvondo mbiri dzandakagara nadzo. kana kutendeutsa musoro nemutsipa achitarisa mativi anga akutendeutsa zvaanga asiri kuita. Saka zvakatishamisa kuti Mwari ariko.
Ndoda kungotenda muprofita nekudayira pavakadano. Ndoda kungotenda because dai profita musina kudayira pamakadanwa. Today even kutochengetedzwa kwandakaita kuti vanhu varoda kuparadza vaida kundiuraya vasvike pangotiza, dai makaramba kudanwa muna Mwari. My Father, dai ndisipo today. I'm so grateful, my father and my mom. I thank you. Kutenda zvakanyanyisa nekundichengetedza nekundirwira. You fight for me. You fight for me. Nekupfuma kudanwa kwamakaitwa. Dai musipo nyasha dzenyu dzakandichengeta, ndaizochengetwa nedzipi nyasha dai musina kubvuma, dai musina kudayira pamakadanwa.
Nangu ndinoenda kumasowe, saka zveminana zvangu ndandisingazvinyatsozvitenda kuti zviriko zvinoitika. Asi pana tichimeni ndakawana chokwadi chekuti kune vamwe vanhu vakatumwa zveshuwa, vakatumwa kuuya kuzoti vanunure nyika, vanunure vanhu. Nekuti Richimeni zvaakaenda akaita kuchechi nemadzokera akazoita, ndinoona kuti pakabatwa basa murume vanonzi vamakandiwa vakatumwa zvechokwadi. Kune vasingatendi zvavo vanofanira kuti vachitenda, nekuti ndaita zvekunzwa kunzi zvakadai wototi vasi vanhu vawanenge vapa mari here, uchivaona pana pamativi vasi vanhu vawanenge vatengera kuti vanhu vawande kana kuti chi. Asi ndakazozvionera ndega kuti Mwari wamakandiwa vanonamata ndiMwari chaiyo anofamba anomira. Saka ndinoda kutovatenda, nekuti Richimeni anga asingakwanisi kana kudita, ainetseka pamba kuti Richimeni aende kuteereti adye. Pakurara zvese zvainetsa, airara achichema mamwazuva achirwadziwa nemaronda aya. Kana kumubata sopananesa aiyo achimugeza aichema. Asi kubvira paakabva kuchechi Richimeni akatokwanisa anga kutogezwa maronda ake zvakanaka asingachemi. Unoti munhu atomunhu akutooneka kuti amunhu ane upenyu. Saka ndoda hangu kutenda Mwari wavamakandiwa neMwari watinonamata.
Wow. This is amazing. You hear the mother. The mother is a madzimai. She says ndinoenda ku madzibaba. But she now says kuti, I used to think that people there are paid to testify, but I saw it firsthand that the God of Prophet Makandiwa, indeed, he is God. People of God, it's amazing. We've got the young men here. We'll just call him for just 2 or 3 minutes so that you can see that we're talking about a living person, so that he can just greet you and just say hi to you. Richmond Mujingi, can you come forward so that people can see you and see that this hand prevailed upon your life? Most of the things we've already discussed, we've seen, we've heard the testimony. We just want people to see you, just to hear from you. How are you doing, Richmond?
I'm okay, Father.
You are okay?
I'm okay. I'm fit and strong.
Fit and strong.
Fit and strong.
Wakadzorwa kunyika kwawanga waenda.
I'm alive. Ndiripo, ndiri mutano. handina kana problem.
nzeve dzakunyatsonzwa zvakanaka.
Tiri kutonzwana namunhu waMwari.
Congratulations. So how are you feeling now? I want to know, sir.
I'm fit and strong. I'm fit and strong.
Nothing missing, nothing broken.
Nothing.
Mukoma ndimi makasvika pasite pekutanga
Yes.
pakakwara.
Yes.
What did you see? Maybe mungotiudza in 1 minute chete.
Okay, mukomana anga akakwara, dog.
You can watch your screens, you can see.
To an extent, yekuti when we called our father and all the relatives, them family, we addressed the issue like mukomana apondwa, because we couldn't believe at that time kuti mukomana was going to live or survive. Even tichisvika kuhospital, hapana anga ine hope yekuti the guy is going to live. All of us, tatisina hope yekuti he will survive.
Wow.
Yes.
People of God, time is not going to allow us to go into.
But allow me to ask a question
Just
before you
one
say.
question.
Yes, I'm going to multiply these questions, doctor, so that everyone can see. So this is what you were using.
Yeah.
And on that day, soon after prayer from the men of God,
Yeah.
you were totally healed.
Healed. Totally healed.
Say, you were telling me that you were not able to move your neck,
Ndandisingakwanisa.
and you are hard of hearing. Angomasingakwanise kunzwa.
Ndandisinganzwa.
And just a stretch of hand from the man of God, our father, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa. What happened after?
Ndakatanga kunzwa.
Makatanga kunzwa. And then what happened to your neck?
To
To your neck.
ndakatanga kutena because patime yava ndinamatira ndakanzwa kamhepo kakangondipinda stuff, then vachiri kutotaura ndo pandakatanga kutonzwa kuti changa chakutondibowa
Chancha kutokubowa.
changa chakutondibowa.
Doctor, in your experience as a medical practitioner, does this thing just go off? I mean, in a day, not in a day, in a few seconds, does it just go, doctor?
Man of God, if you look at the video when he was removing the collar, I tried to be as far away as I could.
Why?
I didn't even want to be close.
Why didn't you want to be close
Oh,
to it?
this is a medical legal issue. Well, you would be thinking that if I remove it myself, and he snaps the spine and he becomes paralyzed, what is going to happen? So that's why he had to do it himself. None of our medical team members was there close to him. We just had to ask him, how are you feeling? He said, I'm okay. We said, okay, wow, God is good. Go back to your doctors and they will take care of you. But we didn't want to be associated with the other things. But he removed himself. And to our amazement, he was fine. Because we had seen him walking in very carefully, trying to not to turn the head. He was turning literally the entire body. And with this out of sight, he's now turning, he's doing all the motions, all the movements. It was literally scary for some of us.
And indeed, you heard what the mother said. He said, you went another person, and he came back another person, a different kind of a person.
Yes.
Which means to all of us that are here and that are watching online, you come in here a different person, and you go out another new person by the grace of our Father. And what's keeping on astounding me is that his head was healed. You can actually see it's emotional to him. His head was healed. The pain was gone. The neck was healed. The ears were healed. He got a...
For the ears, it's still a mystery where, hearing is a complex process. You have got the outer ear, you have the middle ear, you have the inner ear, you have the nerves, you have the hearing cortex, the hearing part of the brain. We don't really know where the hearing was affected. Or it's quite a complex process. We've got some ENT surgeons here. If you sit down with them, they will tell you it's a very complex process. But what we know is wherever the disturbance was, God was able to touch exactly where the problem was. Whether it was the eardrum which was ruptured, whether it was the small bones which were disturbed, whether it was the nerve itself, whether it was the middle, we don't know, whether it was somewhere along this chain. You can see the image there, there is a huge pathway of hearing. We don't know where the problem was, but we know that for 2 weeks he couldn't hear. But upon the ministration of the man of God, everything was restored to normal.
So the part of the ear that was in his brain was what the Father touched.
Exactly. You are following what he's teaching about, that every organ in the body is represented in the brain. So somehow he was able to re-establish the connection between the ear inside and the ear outside. Well,
That's deep. You see the depth of the miracles that happen in this place. There are things that we have to celebrate God for giving us such a Father and making himself manifest in such a way in our Father. And what the God of our Father is doing in this place is seriously extreme. This is extreme-ended miracles, things that you don't find anywhere else except in this place, Doctor.
well, there you are, people of God. Restoration of life of our brother. Restoration of organs, of senses. Restoration of everything. How much more do we need to celebrate this miracle? How much more do we need to praise this God who does such amazing wonders to us?